Good evening, audience, and welcome to That Which Survives. Perhaps you've already met me in the pilot episode of this show, but for reasons I'll get into momentarily, you should consider this the true beginning. This is the real premiere. Good day, audience, however you may be composed. I'm not sure whether or not you exist, but if you are watching this now, you've already contradicted that. And I gotta say, I find that pretty groovy. As I explained last time in the prehistory of this show, my name is Kiki North, and it appears that most of the human race has vanished. Thankfully, for reasons as yet unknown, the internet and all public utilities such as plumbing and electricity appear to be operational. This is what makes this show both possible and relevant, and the reasons behind these facts is part of what we want to discover here. This discovery is only part of what I hope to accomplish with this show, at least for me. You see, I appear to be suffering from some sort of amnesia and currently harbor no memories of my life before this catastrophe, whatever it was. But there's no reason to pity me, since I know no other state than this one. In light of this problematic mental state, I investigated my surroundings after waking up in order to seek out some clue or indication of who I may have been and why I might have survived this catastrophe. After investigating what appeared to be my apartment, it seemed that I must have been some sort of artist or audiovisual technician, considering the equipment that I found in this residence. After a while, I also realized that the internet not only was still functioning, but could also serve as a broadcast medium of some kind, similar to radio or television, but obviously quite different. Somehow, I put two and two together and decided to make a show, a call of sorts, to put out there for other people to respond to, with the hope that we could come together, discover who we were and why we were still here, and construct some kind of plan about what we might be able to do, or at the very least, attempt to conclude what it was that happened. A few weeks after the first broadcast, after I continued seeing no activity online outside of my own, I had nearly lost hope. That is, until I received a letter, which I will read to you now. imagine I was deeply moved by this communication and awaited eagerly for the arrival of this brave, exhausted, and soaking wet soul. But then I realized that perhaps I had fabricated this entire experience and the entire communication. Maybe I made a fake email address and sent it to myself so as to give the illusion of not being alone. Perhaps I either discovered or invented some type of robotic camera that would give me the ability to make it appear that there was someone else here recording all of this. In other words, perhaps I realized that I could create a new artifice of communication and collaboration. Seeing as I still have no memories of what happened before. And just as much as you, I am a victim to this post-apocalyptic scenario that's quickly become the wool over our eyes. When human civilization existed, the interplanetary internet was in development. The interplanetary internet can be understood as the internet in outer space. And in contrast to the internet, which is often understood as a network of networks, the interplanetary internet is more like a network of internets. Well, our next guest is going to be phoning in and for reasons as yet unknown wishes to remain anonymous. Should be calling in any second now. Oh, there he is. He or she. Hello? Yes, thank you for joining us today. Now, my first question, tell me why you're calling. Oh, many reasons. A thirst for companionship, a curiosity about your intentions, even a misguided sense of altruism. I see. Where are you located now? Oh, I can't tell you that. I see. Do you remember anything from before waking up? I certainly do. I remember like the back of my hand in a bad dream during a thunderstorm with no seatbelt. What was your profession before the event? Listen, I don't understand this was business. If you ask me, if you're a professional, you are such for life. To answer what I think you're trying to ask me, crime is my business. And I'd be CEO of 10 companies if they threw titles like that around in the line of work I do. You mean you earn your living by transgressing the rules and law that many argue give form to the very skeleton of our society? You make it sound like we're nothing but skin and flesh. No, I would say that like any business, I earn money by providing goods and services to people that are looking for them. It just so happens that my clients are interested in the types of goods and services that you can't find through legitimate channels. I see. And these are needs that people already have. I assume you don't play any role in inventing them. I know where you're going with this, and I can't say that I like it. Listen. If you ask me, nothing worthwhile or even interesting comes through legitimate channels. All that hassle is such a waste of time. It blinds you to what's right out there, just sitting under your nose. So, listen, I gotta run in a minute. You got a couple more questions. Yes, do you have any theories regarding why the internet and other public utilities are still working? There you go. I had a feeling about you, kid. I knew you weren't going to disappoint me. But are you crazy? You think I'm just going to tell you something like that on the air? Listen, think about it. It's useful. It's miraculous. So it has to be originating through some corruption or exploitation of natural resources and processes. But that's all I can say. Last question. What aspects of human civilization do you hope to preserve for the future? I'd rather tell you what I don't want to preserve. All this business about us and them. It's equally bad on both sides. Worse all the same since we're doing the same work. But there's this generally arbitrary classification system that we just can't seem to let go of. Or maybe it's that we don't want to. Then the question is, why don't we want to? But listen, I really gotta go, but it's been great talking to you. Yep, good luck, bye. Well, thank you, criminal. I guess that about wraps up our third guest and our first show. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon.